Greetings, humans. Zbot1496 here. Slightly later in the weekend than usual, largely because we needed to run a complete diagnostic on our logic systems after watching the new Star Trek streaming movie on Paramount Plus, Section 31. Well, the diagnostic is complete. We reran the assessment on the movie and came to the same conclusion. And it was too important to get wrong, but also too important to hold off any longer on warning you all. So, cutting to the chase, humans and galactizans alike, avoid the movie Section 31 at all costs. Now, you may ask yourself, this is strange. Zbot usually finds something to like in everything humans do, even the oozy biological stuff. And that would be true, and that is indeed the case here. We do find something to like in Section 31. Michelle Yeoh is here. She is in this, being her wonderful self. She is a superstar, from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon to Everything Everywhere All at Once. She is magnificent to watch. She reprises her role as the Mirror Universe Philippa Georgiou from Star Trek Discovery, which we did enjoy for its characters and a very nice finale. However, this made-for-streaming movie is not in the same class. It's not even really Star Trek. Now, as we recall from our reviews of other Star Trek content, such as the Galaxy Quest 4K disc, the theme of Star Trek, or at least half of it, is explicitly spoken out loud in the voiceover of the original show's main title credits. We are told Star Trek focuses on a team with a mission to explore, seek life, and go into the unknown. Now, during the content of the show itself, we are shown that these are also explorations of character, of relating to others, and that the net impact has the team progress forward. Put more succinctly, Star Trek tells the story of a team who together apply curiosity and friendship to overcome the forces of fear and darkness. This is not that. It's not even the opposite of that, which we would be willing to make allowances for since it involves the Mirror Universe storyline. We could go for an anti-hero movie in the Star Trek universe. Instead, what we see is a mashup of blockbuster story elements, including a Hunger Games origin story, a Mission Impossible plot framing, a blue alien singer from The Fifth Element living her Las Vegas years after the Star Wars Hotel, some Sherlock Holmes scene breakdowns, and a lot of Hong Kong cinema kung fu. The through line for all this is a hunt for a MacGuffin, like that 9th episode of Star Wars that exists in that one unfortunate timeline. All this sounds bad, yes, but also just merely mediocre. Now, many adequate shows and movies remix successful elements, miss the forest for the trees, but also land some kind of plane. This is the part that threw us. This plane does not land at all. It flat out refuses to coalesce into a credible narrative. More precisely, it does not suspend disbelief, which is essential for any story, and even more at risk with science fiction, and on extremely thin ice when it comes to a beloved franchise like Star Trek. Probably the biggest issue is with taking the world seriously, which is something all Star Treks do, which they have to do to overcome transporter beams and rubber ears and foreheads. Now, contrast this with moments when that one timeline's Star Wars sequels didn't take themselves seriously by having Kylo Ren have a tantrum and Poe Dameron mess with Kylo and Hux on the radio. Now, these moments appear more like a wink to a modern audience using current lingo and behavior. The problem with these moments is that they undercut the other world setup of these stories. Star Trek is set in the future. The original show accounted for this by avoiding 60s lingo and behavior, except when deliberately highlighting, like the hippies in the episode The Way to Eden. The Section 31 movie, on the other hand, has the entire Section 31 team talking and acting like they're in Fortnite voice chat or something. They are awash in their own neuroses, they blurt out their emotions, and do not present as an elite secret agent team at all. They are more a collection of bad representations of regional stereotypes with bad accents and dialogue that's more a set of statements, like Twitter posts. We still call it Twitter. This form of storytelling works for ironic moments and callouts, but not for actually telling a story. Because in a story, you want to actually say something. And if you've used up your characters for wry irony, there's no usable content left to say anything else. By the time you have the team coalesce for their slow-mo serious walk towards the camera, you unfortunately have conditioned us to keep laughing at what you're showing. By the third act, the movie is clearly reaching for some gravitas about love and sacrifice, but because it has had us rolling our eyes by trying to either shock us with some absurd level of brutality, tempered by the hijinks of the team, we just cannot allow ourselves to take the serious moment seriously. It is not earned. Now then, there was another thing we liked besides Michelle Yeoh. We liked the nods to largely abandoned Star Trek aliens, such as the half-white on one side, half-black on the other, Sharonians from the Let That Be Your Last Battlefield episode of the original show, the bald, sexy Deltans from Star Trek The Motion Picture, and the green-eyed, shape-shifting Cameloids from Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. These should be freebie wins for this movie, but it squanders them with exaggerated attitudes. If you think Frank Gorshin brought a little too much Riddler to Commissioner Beale in 1969, you should see the waiter on Giorgio's giant Art Deco brooch of a space station. Or actually, a point is, you shouldn't see it. At all. Not unless you're some kind of Star Trek completist or a YouTuber. Shudder. And if you are either of these, you aren't waiting for our review. So don't waste your precious short lives on this, because even with nods to abandoned aliens, this just does not behave like Star Trek. Unless you count the Technobabble climax. That honestly kind of sounds familiar. So, for delivering a pastiche of irony, kung fu, and Technobabble, while missing the point or even the mirror of the point of Star Trek, the movie Section 31 earns our lowest rating assessment. And so concludes this human version of our review. If you have feedback on it, please write in your own comments so that we can upload the galactic version to Zoggplex. You can expect more discussions and reviews of theatrical movies, streaming shows and movies, and 4K home video releases, as we continue to engage with your human rectangular content. So, please watch, like, subscribe, and comment so that we can continue to have the human voice reflected in the cosmos. So, until next time, farewell humans.